The sun above Tira, a dry and silent planet, burned like fire. Red dust covered the land. The wind was dry and carried the smell of smoke, ash, and old blood. It had been only hours since the battle ended. The sky was still filled with the sound of falling metal, broken ships, and echoes of cries. Liam walked slowly, one hand holding his side where a sharp piece of armor had cut through. His eyes were tired. His body ached. His water was gone. His friends Ravi, Ben, and Myra had all fallen during the fight. He was the last one left. Just one human walking alone in the heat, searching for shelter, water, and hope. He walked past burnt wreckage of machines. Broken weapons lay scattered. The bodies of soldiers, both human and alien, lay still. The enemy, the Joran, had strange, tall bodies, gray skin, and heavy black armor. They were strong and fast, but this battle had taken something from them too. Even the winners had lost much. Liam's boots sank into the sand as he reached a small hill of fallen warriors. Top, he saw a Joran body. Its armor was cracked, and its helmet had fallen to the side. Inside the curved shape of the helmet, there was a small pool of clear water. It looked cold and fresh, a rare thing on Terra. Liam's lips were dry. His throat burned. His canteen was empty. He looked at the helmet, then at the warrior. The alien's face was still. Its eyes had long closed. Whatever power it once held was now gone. "I'm sorry," Liam whispered. He knelt down, picked up the helmet with shaking hands, and raised it to his mouth. The water smelled strange, but clean. He didn't care. Drank. The first sip felt cool, smooth. His body relaxed. The second sip made his head spin. He dropped the helmet. It fell into the sand with a soft thump. Then it began. His heart started beating fast. His skin itched. His face felt like it was burning. He stood, dizzy, then stumbled forward and fell on his hands and knees. He looked down at the sand, but what he saw were his hands wrinkled. Thin, his skin was changing, drying, folding. His nails grew longer. His arms were shaking. "No. What's happening?" Liam gasped. He reached for the broken part of a metal plate on the ground, shiny like a mirror. He saw his own face, but it was not the same. His beard had turned white. The skin around his eyes had deep lines. His jaw had lost its strength. He looked 20 years older. He touched his face with both hands. "This isn't real." But it was. His back hurt. His legs felt weak. But then, just as suddenly as it started, the change stopped. His breathing slowed. The pain faded a little. His skin still looked old, but the aging had paused. Liam sat down in the sand, holding his head. What was in that water? He picked up the helmet again and looked closely. Inside the helmet, something shined under the water. He poured out the last drops and saw a small glowing Marca symbol etched into the inside of the metal. Pulsed. Faintly. Like it was still alive. Liam touched it with his finger. A sharp flash of light hit. His mind, he saw images. Fast. Blurry. He wasn't standing on the desert anymore. He was inside a memory. But it wasn't his memory. It was someone else's, a warrior. Maybe the Joran, whose helmet he had touched. He saw a temple, bright lights, priests standing in a circle, chanting. He saw warriors kneeling before them, drinking water from special helmets. Their faces changed, some aged, some grew younger, some screamed, others glowed. Then the vision vanished. Liam opened his eyes, now breathing hard. This wasn't just water, he said. This was a key. He stood up slowly. His body still felt old. But something inside him had changed too. He could feel it. He wasn't alone in his mind anymore. A whisper echoed in his thoughts, deep, cold, and powerful. A voice without a mouth. The trial has begun. Liam looked around the empty battlefield. Dust covered everything. But now the world looked different. To him, he felt connected to something larger, something ancient. He looked up at the sky. The sun still burned, but a cloud moved in, covering part of its heat. Liam pulled the helmet over his head. It fit, A perfect fit. The moment it touched his skin, he felt another wave of energy move through him, but this time it didn't hurt. It whispered again. You have taken the first step. Seek the city of silence. The eye waits. Liam didn't understand the message completely, but he knew one thing. This was no longer just a mission to survive. He had touched something forbidden. And now, something had touched him back. The wind on Terra was stronger now, blowing red dust across the broken land. The sun still burned above, but Liam felt colder. Not in body, but inside. Something was wrong with time. It no longer felt normal. He walked slowly, each step heavy. His joints ached like an old man's. His fingers were stiff. His breath felt short, but still he moved. He had to. There was no going back. The helmet he had worn still covered his head. It felt strange, but not bad, like it belonged to him now. It hummed softly, and sometimes he could hear whispers not in his ears, but inside his thoughts. He tried not to listen. But the voice returned again and again. Seek the city of silence. The eye waits. What city? Liam muttered. Where is it? No one answered. Only the wind. Only the dust. Hours passed. He had no food, no water. But somehow, he didn't collapse. Something was keeping him going. Maybe the helmet. Maybe the power inside it. Suddenly his legs froze. It's not from fear, but from something else, like a memory. Hitting him from the inside, he looked around. The world spun slightly. But then, like a camera pulling into focus, he saw it a shape in the far distance, half buried under sand, sharp edges, stone walls, a ruin. He began walking toward it. As he reached the old structure, he saw symbols carved into the stones. The writing looked alien, but part of his brain understood it now. As if the memories of the helmet were becoming his own. It read, Temple of the First Memory. Liam touched the wall. Another vision hit him quick and clear. A group of Joran warriors stood in a circle. Each wore a helmet like his. They drank from it. Some screamed, others smiled. One fell to the ground and aged 100 years in seconds. Liam pulled back, gasping. So I'm not the first, he whispered. This is a test, a curse, a gift, all in one. He walked deeper into the ruins. The air was cooler here. The sun could not reach far inside. There were strange statues and dark halls, and in the middle he found something glowing. It was not a machine, not a weapon. It was a memory crystal. Liam reached out, and the crystal lit up. A hologram appeared. It showed a human face, a woman with dark hair and sharp eyes. If you're seeing this, the woman said, then you've survived the first trial. My name is Dr. Kira Mon. I came here with a research team 5 years ago. Only I made it out of the first stage. Liam stared. You're human, the hologram continued. The helmet you wear is a Joran relic. It doesn't just store memory, it shares it, but the price is your body. The more you connect, the more you age. Unless you find the eye. The eye, Liam repeated. The eye of recall, she said. It's deep inside the lost city of Varenka. That city is hidden under the sand. You must follow the path of the wind towers. They point the way. Hologram flickered. One more thing. Don't trust your own thoughts. Once the helmet bonds to you, it may try to change you. The message ended. Liam sat down, his heart pounding, so he wasn't alone. Another human had been through this. And she had left a warning, a path, a purpose. He stood again. But as he did, something moved in the corner of his eye. A figure small and fast. It ran past the broken archway. Then it was gone. Who's there? He shouted. No answer. He followed the sound. The ruins twisted like a maze. The halls were broken, filled with rubble. Strange symbols on the walls glowed softly. Then he entered around. Roomed at the center was a pool of water, clean, shimmering. Around it were helmets just like his. Left behind, silent. On the wall was a large carving of a warrior. Liam stared at the face. It looked like him, a younger version, strong, proud. Suddenly he felt dizzy again. The whispers returned. You carry more than memory now. You carry the soul of battle. No, he said. I'm still me. But the voice laughed softly. For now, he looked at his hands again. The skin was cracked. Not older, but changed. Stronger, thicker. His nails were sharper. His bones heavier. It was not just aging. He was transforming. Liam sat beside the water and stared into it. His reflection was hard to face. He didn't recognize himself fully. His eyes were sharper. His hair, still mostly gray, moved slightly. Without wind, I have to find the eye, he said, before it's too late. But he had no map. No guide. Then he remembered. The wind towers. He ran outside the ruins and scanned the desert. Far on the horizon, he saw something, a thin tower, tall and old. Standing alone like a finger pointing up, the wind hit him from behind. It was pushing him toward the tower. Liam smiled for the first time in days. All right then, he said. Let's find this city. He began walking again with slow steps but a clear goal. His helmet hummed quietly. Sun lowered behind him. The path was long, but the journey had truly begun. The sky over Terra was turning orange. The sun was slowly setting behind the hills of sand. Liam walked toward the tall wind tower, step by step, each foot pressing deep into the dry ground. His body still felt strange. It was tired, older, but something inside him kept him moving. The helmet on his head hummed softly like a voice deep in his mind. Behind him, the desert stretched endlessly. Ahead of him, the wind tower stood like a lonely finger pointing to the sky. It was made of dark stone, covered in carvings. As Liam got closer, he saw that some of the carvings were glowing, just like the symbol inside the helmet. He reached the base of the tower and looked up. At the top, there was a spinning fan that turned with the wind. It wasn't made of metal, but some kind of crystal. The wind hit it, and the tower began to sing a low, deep sound like a forgotten song. Liam placed his hand on the stone. Suddenly his vision blurred. Another flash filled his mind. He saw a city, a grand place buried under sand with golden walls and bright lights. In the center of it stood a large building shaped like an eye. The voice in his mind whispered again, Varenka, the lost city. The eye of recall is there. Then the vision faded. Liam pulled his hand back, heart racing. He now knew where he needed to go, not just west or north. The wind itself was guiding him. He looked up again. The fan on the tower turned faster, and the wind changed direction, now blowing toward a dry valley between two sand-covered cliffs. That's where I go next, he said. Liam moved through the valley, the helmet still on his head. It seemed lighter now, like it had become part of him. As he walked, small pieces of memory kept flashing in his mind, some from the Joran warrior whose helmet he wore, and some from the human scientist, Dr. Kira. He saw Kira walking through the same valley years ago. She was younger, smiling, holding a scanner. Then he saw her team falling into a trap sand, collapsing, strange shadows attacking. He shook his head and blinked. Focus, that's not happening now. The valley opened up into a wide plain, and in the distance, Liam saw a large hill of stone. Half of it was buried under the sand, but he could see old walls, broken statues, shattered doors. The hidden city had appeared. Varendashka. Liam entered slowly. The city was silent. No wind, no movement. Just dust in the air and stillness all around. The buildings were tall and sharp, made of black stone and gold lines. Some were leaning, half broken by time. Others were perfectly shaped, untouched by age. The whole place felt like it was asleep. Liam walked through an old gate where two statues stood. They looked like Joran warriors, holding helmets in one hand and blades in the other. Their eyes seemed to follow him. He passed into a wide street. The ground was smooth and flat, but covered in strange marks, footprints, symbols, and paths of metal that led into deeper parts of the city. Then he heard it. A sound. Faint but real. A low hum, like breathing. Not human, not machine. He followed it. The path led him to a large round door, sealed tight. On the door was a symbol that glowed when he stepped close. It was the same mark inside the helmet. He reached out. The door opened with a soft hiss. Inside was a long hall, dark but glowing with soft blue light from the walls. The floor was made. A polished stone. Liam walked slowly. His footsteps echoed. At the end of the hall stood a large chamber. In the middle of the chamber was a pedestal, and on it sat a crystal orb, clear, but filled with soft, swirling light. The Eye of Recall Liam stepped closer. The moment he reached the edge of the room, the voice returned. You have come far, bearer of the past. But the eye does not open to just anyone. Shape appeared. A figure stepped from the shadow stall, made of light and dust. Looked like a Joran elder. Its face was not angry, but calm. You carry the memories of one who broke the order. You have drunk from the sacred helm. You must now be tested. I didn't ask for this, Liam said, standing tall. Yet you carry it, and now you must understand it. The figure raised its hand. A circle of light appeared around Liam. Then came the test. Liam was suddenly standing on a battlefield, but not the one on Terra. This was a memory. Joran warriors were fighting each other, brothers and sisters, in civil war. Some wore bright armor. Others wore dark. The one whose helmet Liam wore was here. Too, he saw through his eyes, fighting, screaming, kneeling before the temple of the eye, begging to forget. The Zoran warrior had drunk from the helmet to remove pain. But instead, the helmet stored everything, even fear, guilt, sadness. Then Liam returned to the chamber. He dropped to his knees. I understand now, he said. This is not a weapon. It's a mirror. It shows who we truly are. The light figure nodded. Then you may touch the eye. Liam stood, stepped forward, and placed both hands on the crystal orb. Light filled the room. Memories rushed through him, his own. The Jorans, Dr. Kira's. But now they didn't fight inside him. They moved together like water, the aging. On his face paused again. Something had changed. Liam backed back. The figure faded. The eye was now silent. Liam looked at his hands. His skin was still old, but no longer cracking. His mind was sharper, his body lighter. He had passed the second stage, but he knew there was more ahead. He turned to leave the chamber, ready to face the next path. In the silence of the city, one word echoed in his thoughts. Balance. The city of Varenka was still silent as Liam stepped out of the eye chamber. The light from the crystal orb still glowed behind him, but his path now led deeper. The whispers in his mind had changed. They no longer spoke with confusion or fear. Now they felt calm, focused, and clear. The wind outside had picked up again, blowing dust through the tall towers and stone streets. But inside Liam's mind, there was peace, brief, but real. The helmet he wore no longer hummed with pain, pulsed slowly like a heartbeat. He touched the side of it. You're quiet now, he said softly. Does that mean you trust me? Answer came, but Liam didn't need one. He followed a golden path through the city. Carvings on the walls glowed as he passed. They showed stories of warriors learning from their ancestors, of memory crystals passed from one generation to the next. But slowly, the pictures changed. They became darker. Some showed warriors screaming. Others showed cities burning, minds breaking from too much memory. Liam understood. Too much power, he whispered, and no balance. He walked until he reached a strange gate made of polished black stone. It had no door, just a hole-shaped, like an eye. As Liam stepped through it, the light behind him vanished. The city faded away. He was no longer in Varenka. The place beyond the gate was cold and empty. No wind, no sun, just silence and gray mist. Liam stood still. He was in a wide open field made of smooth stone.
Ow.
The sky above was black. He couldn't see the end in any direction. He called out, "Hello?" His voice echoed, but there was no reply. Then, from the far end of the field, something began to move. A figure appeared walking slowly, like a shadow rising from the ground. It had a shape he recognized. It looked like him. Same helmet, same face, same armor, but younger, stronger, healthier. The figure stopped a few steps away. It tilted its head. Liam narrowed his eyes. "What are you?" the figure replied with his voice. "I am the you before the change, before the truth, before the burden." Liam stepped back. "You're a copy." The figure nodded. "I am your mirror, and I will test you." Without warning, the mirror Liam rushed forward. Liam blocked the first strike with his arm. The force was strong, too strong for a simple reflection. This was more than a vision. It was a living memory, memory given shape, strength, and will. They fought across the stone field. Liam punched, ducked, rolled. The mirror copy matched him at every move, knowing his thoughts before he did. He was fighting his own self, his younger, stronger self.
How?
But the mirror had no pain, no weakness, no regret. Liam was pushed down. Mirror stepped on his chest. "You are not worthy," it said. "You are tired, old, slow. You have lost your fire." Liam looked up, breathing hard. His bones hurt. His skin burned, but his mind was sharp. "No," he said. "I have not lost anything. I've gained something you'll never have." "What?" the mirror asked, understanding. Liam reached up, grabbed the mirror's wrist, and closed his eyes. He let the memories flow, not just the strong ones, but the sad ones. The loss of friends, the fear of failure, the loneliness, the guilt. The mirror screamed. It shook. Its body flickered like smoke and wind. "You're just the part of me I had to leave behind," Liam said. "You're the anger, the pride, pain I couldn't let go." The mirror Liam fell backward. Its body cracked like glass. Then it shattered into 1,000 pieces, which floated away into the sky. The field vanished. Liam opened his eyes. He was back in the city, back in Vern Dash. He was standing just beyond the black gate, his helmet still on, his breath steady. But now something had changed. He felt lighter. The weight in his chest was gone. He looked at his hands. They still had lines, but they no longer shook. His back was straighter. His eyes felt stronger. The test had not been about fighting. It had been about facing himself. He whispered, "Thank you." A small light appeared ahead, floating in the air. It moved slowly, leading him to a nearby building shaped like a dome. Its walls were made of silver stone, smooth and glowing. The light stopped at the entrance, then disappeared. Liam stepped inside. The inside of the dome was quiet and peaceful. A round room with soft light glowing from the walls. In the center was a floating platform. On it sat a single object, a silver mask with the same symbol as his helmet. As Liam stepped forward, a gentle voice spoke, not loud, not harsh. "You have passed the mirror trial. You may now carry balance." He picked up the silver mask. It was cool to the touch. As he held it, he felt a wave of calm pass through him. The helmet on his head faded, vanishing like mist. Its energy entered the mask. The helmet was now a memory, and the mask a symbol. Of control, he put it on. New visions entered his mind, but this time, they did not hurt. He saw humans and Joran walking side by side, sharing knowledge, teaching each other, not fighting but learning. He saw Dr. Kira smiling. He saw the past. Yes, but also the future. Then a final message filled his thoughts. Return. Share what you've learned. The war is not over, but peace is now possible. Liam opened his eyes. He stepped outside. The sky over Varenka was clear now. The sun had returned. The city felt warmer, alive. He looked back at the path he had walked, full of trials, pain, and discovery. And then he looked forward. A new journey was calling. The golden city of Varenka stood silent behind him as Liam walked away wearing the silver mask. His steps were steady now. His back was straight. The deep pain in his body had faded, and even his face looked younger, not fully, but enough to remind him that something inside had changed. The path ahead led back into the desert, but it no longer looked the same. The sand felt softer, sky clearer. The sun, though still hot, felt like light instead of fire. Liam stopped on a hill and looked back one last time. "I'll come back," he said softly. Then he turned toward the west. The helmet was gone. The mask was now part of him. Didn't speak with loud voices. Instead, it whispered calm thoughts, helping him stay balanced. It held memory but not pain as he walked. The world around him slowly shifted again, but this time, it wasn't his body changing, it was his mind. Without warning, his vision faded. His feet stopped moving. The desert disappeared. Liam was no longer on Terra. He was standing in the middle of a garden, a place he had never seen before. Green trees, flowing water, bright flowers, strange birds flying above. He looked at his hands. They were normal. A voice called to him, gentle, wise. Not fear. You are in the memory plane. The mask has opened the last gate. Now you will see where all this began. Liam turned. An old Joran stood before him, not in armor, but in soft robes. "I am called Torin." "I am called Torin," the figure said. "I was the first keeper of memory." Liam listened. The Joran raised his hand, and the garden shifted. It changed into a village. Small homes, happy Joran families, children learning, elders sharing stories. "This is how it was," Torin said. "Long ago, our people lived in peace. We shared memories to teach, not to control." Liam watched as one Jorian touched another's hand. Soft light passed between them. The younger one smiled, as if understanding something deep and beautiful. "We believed in unity," Torin said. "We believed in growth." The scene changed again. Now Liam stood in a dark hall. Warriors were shouting. Priests held weapons of light. Fire rose in the background. But when greed entered our hearts, everything changed, Torin said. Some wanted power, some feared truth. So we created the helmet ritual, to store memory without sharing pain. But that was our mistake. Liam saw warriors drink from helmets, just like he had. Some aged, some lost their minds. Others became monsters. We turned wisdom into a weapon, Torin said. And we forgot balance. Liam lowered his head. Your people were like mine, he said. We also made the same mistakes. Torin looked at him. Yes, that is why you are here now. You carry both the pain and the hope. The world shifted. Again now, Liam stood on a mountaintop, high above the clouds. The wind was strong. The sky was full of stars. In front of him stood Dr. Kira. She smiled when she saw him. You made it. Liam stepped closer. You're real? This is only my memory, she said. I'm still alive, but far away. I left these messages in case someone like you survived the trials. Liam looked at her. You understood the curse? As Kira replied. But I couldn't carry it. I saw too much too fast. The memories were heavy, but you were chosen by the helmet when you passed the tests. Liam asked, what? Now, she walked toward the edge of the mountain and pointed at the sky. You saw the beginning, she said. Now you must shape the end. Suddenly, the stars lit up. One by one, they formed images, human ships, shore-in cities, explosions, peace talks, fights, tears. Handshakes. Liam watched the images float across the sky. You must return, Kira said. Take the mask. Take the balance. Share what you've seen. Stop the war before both sides are lost. But I'm just one man, Liam said. You're not just one, she replied. Yeah. You carry many inside you now. Memories, lessons, peace, power. She touched his shoulder. You are not the same Liam who drank from that helmet? Then her image faded. The sky turned white. The garden, the village, the mountain all disappeared. Liam opened his eyes. He was standing again in the desert, right where he had stopped. The memory vision had ended. But something was different. The wind around him had changed. He looked up. Far away in the sky, he saw a signal light green and blinking. A human rescue beacon. A ship was nearby. Liam began to walk faster. His legs felt strong. The desert no longer seemed endless. The first time, he felt like he was not lost, but returning home. After 2 hours of walking, he reached the camp. It was a small forward base, half buried in sand. A few soldiers stood guard. They looked surprised when they saw him. "Is that a Joran mask?" one asked. Liam nodded. "Yes, but I'm human." "My name is Liam. I was part of Scout Team 4. Young officer stepped forward. "We thought that team was gone." "They were," Liam said softly. "I'm the only one left." The officer stared at the mask. "What happened to your face?" "You look older than your file says." Liam smiled gently. "It's a long story, but I think it might help end this." "War." The soldiers looked at each other. "I'm sure." Then Liam reached into his pack and pulled out a small glowing crystal, the memory core from Veronica. It held part of the eye's knowledge. "I need to speak to command," he said. "Not just about battle, about peace, about memory." That night, as he sat under the stars, Liam looked up again. He didn't know if the humans would listen. He didn't know if the Joran would trust, but he did know one thing. He had seen the truth. And once a truth is seen, it cannot be hidden again. The human base on Terra was small, dusty, and filled with tired faces. Soldiers moved quietly, repairing broken machines and checking weapons. But something changed the moment Liam arrived. He didn't come with guns, didn't carry orders. He came with a story, one that felt strange, yet powerful. Some laughed when they saw him. Some whispered behind his back. His face still looked older than it should. His eyes, though, were sharp and calm. The silver mask rested across his chest, shining softly under the evening sun. Liam had already spoken to the young officer at the gate. Now he was sitting in front of the base commander, Colonel Hart, strong man with short white hair and sharp eyes. So Hart said, crossing his arms. "You say you've found a way to stop the war." "I didn't find a weapon," Liam replied. "I found a memory, one that needs to be shared." Hart raised an eyebrow. "You expect me to believe that you drank cursed water from an alien helmet, saw their past, passed some test, and now you want peace?" Liam nodded. "Yes, sir. That's exactly what I'm saying." Then was a long silence. Then Liam placed the small memory crystal on the table between them. The same one he had taken from the Eye of Recall. It glowed faintly, waiting. "What's this?" Hart asked. "It holds truth," Liam answered. "Not just about the Joran, about us too." Later. That night, in the base's command room, the crystal was activated. A soft blue light filled the space. Soldiers and officers stood around in silence as images appeared in the air. Not just pictures, but living memories. The peaceful Joran cities. The early memory-sharing rituals. The fall into greed and war. And then, visions of humans. Also fighting, also falling into the same trap of power and fear. The crystal showed Dr. Kira speaking softly. "This is not a weapon. It's a mirror. Whoever sees this must decide, do we repeat history or do we change it?" When the light faded, no one spoke. Even Colonel Hart was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "This is real, then it changes everything." Liam looked. Him in the eyes, "It is real. I've lived it. I think that Joran can feel it too." Hart leaned forward. "Then we need to send a signal, not one of war, one of understanding." By morning, Liam stood in the open desert again. But this time, he wasn't alone. A small team of human peace envoys walked with him unarmed. Wearing light armor, carrying only water, communication tools, and a single memory crystal. They walked toward the Joran border, where sensors once fired without warning. But Liam believed something had shifted. The helmet had changed him. The eye had changed his mind. Now he hoped to help. Change the world as they crossed into the Joran territory. No shots were fired. Instead, a single figure stood in the distance. Tall. Calm. Silver armor, a Joran warrior. Liam stepped forward, raising his hands slowly. "I come in peace," he said. "I carry a memory and a message." The warrior didn't move. Then, slowly, the warrior removed his helmet. Underneath was a face with age and wisdom, not angry, not afraid. "I am Verenzo, guardian of the past," the alien said. "I felt the change. The eye has opened again." Liam nodded. "I was tested. I passed. I saw your history." Verenzo walked closer. "Then you understand," he said. "The war is not in our weapons. It is in our minds." Liam smiled slightly. "Yes, and maybe now we can end it." The next day, something happened that hadn't occurred in over 50 years. Humans and Joran stood together in a shared space. A neutral zone was marked between their bases. A simple tent was placed there. No weapons were allowed inside. Only memory crystals. Only voices. Liam stood in the center, the silver mask on his chest. As both sides watched, he spoke clearly. "I drank from a fallen warrior's helmet," he said, "and it changed me. It aged me, yes, but it also showed me the truth," he shared. "The story of the Joran's past, the mirror beast, the eye of recall, and the meaning of balance." He held up the crystal. "This is not a tool for control. It's a bridge. It holds pain and peace if you choose to learn." Then he set the crystal between both sides. A moment of silence. Then Verenzo stepped forward and touched the crystal. His eyes closed. Memories flowed. He saw the same visions. Liam did. When he opened his eyes, they were full of light. "We will listen," Verenzo said. Then he turned to his own people and said something in their language. And for the first time, the Joran warriors put down their weapons voluntarily. Back at the human base, Liam sat quietly on a metal bench watching the stars. The night was cool, peaceful. A soft voice spoke beside him. "You've done something big," said a familiar figure. It was Dr. Kier, older now, walking with a cane, but alive and calm. She had returned after hearing Liam's signal. "I only followed the path you helped create," Liam said with a smile. She sat beside him. "I was afraid the eye would be lost forever, but you found it." "No," he replied. "It found me." She nodded. "How do you feel now?" Liam looked at his hands. They were still aged. His hair was still gray. But he felt light. Free. "Feel human," he said. "And I feel hopeful." That night, the desert was quiet. No sounds of battle, only wind, only stars, only the beginning of something new. The desert sun rose slowly over the quiet lands of Terra. The war was not over, but something had changed. The air felt lighter, and the old enemies now stood closer, no longer ready to fight at every moment. Liam stood at the edge of the peace tent, watching the humans and Joran talk together. The silver mask hung around his neck, symbol of the journey he had traveled in the balance. He now carried inside a small group of children, half human, half Jor, played nearby. Their laughter was soft, but full of hope. They didn't know the pain of war. They only knew the stories told by those who had lived it. Liam smiled. The peace talks were slow, but real. Both sides had much to learn. Old leaders from both species sat together, listening carefully as memories from the helmets and crystals were shared. These memories showed the cost of war, the power of memory, and the need for understanding. Colonel Hart and Guardian Verenzo stood side by side, a sign of new friendship. They both knew the road ahead was long and difficult, but now there was a chance. Liam felt the weight of the mask around his neck. It reminded him of the battles he fought inside himself, the trials he passed, and the hope he carried forward. That evening, Liam walked to the edge of the desert, where the wind carried stories from the past and dreams for the future. He looked up at the stars. The helmet had aged him. Yes, but it had also made him stronger. He was no longer just a man. He was a keeper of memories. A bridge between worlds. He touched the silver mask gently suddenly. The mask glowed softly. A vision appeared before him, not in his mind, but in the air. He saw the city of Varenka, shining bright and alive. He saw the Joran and humans working together, sharing knowledge, and building a new world. He saw children growing up without fear, and then the vision shifted. He saw himself not as an old man, but as a teacher, a leader, a guardian of balance. The voice from the helmet whispered, again, gentle and clear, "The journey never ends, but the dawn is yours to shape." Liam smiled. "Yes," he said, "it is." The next morning, Liam returned to the peace tent. He saw Dr. Kira talking to a group of young soldiers. She turned and smiled when she saw him. "You've changed the future," she said softly. "We all have," Liam replied. Together, they walked. To the center of the tent, Liam spoke to the crowd. "The helmet showed me many things: pain, loss, and hope. It taught me that memory is not just about the past. It is the key to the future." He looked at the faces around him, human and Joran. War is not the answer. Understanding is. Carry the memories of those who came before us. Let us learn from them. The crowd was silent. Then slowly hands began to raise. One by one, voices joined. Peace, hope. In the months that followed, the peace grew stronger. Humans and Joran worked side by side to rebuild what was lost. They shared knowledge, culture, and stories. The memory crystals and helmets were no longer weapons, but tools of learning. Liam taught others how to carry the balance. The silver mask became a symbol of unity. One evening, Liam sat beneath the stars with Dr. Kira. They watched the horizon. "The war is not over," she said. "But now we have a chance." Liam nodded. "Double quotes, the helmet took years from me," he said. "But it gave me something more." "A new beginning," Kira said. He smiled. "Yes, a new dawn." The desert wind whispered softly. The stars shone bright, and for the first time in a long time, the future looked full of promise.